People can hear us.
This is what we want to be singing. Gosh, we're so damn professional. Oh, wait, no. We're about to catch up. They're about to get us live. Oh, which means they're going to hear all of this right now. I guess our stream is working.
Oh. Go to live.
No, you're just waiting for the lag to catch up.
Well,
Grant.
I don't understand why
I think we're live. I think we are...
We might be live, but I'm not sure
Live
anyone
and
can watch
broadcasting.
this until...
Guys, what's our motto for tonight's episode?
We are not afraid to fail.
Thank you.
We're not afraid to fail.
We're experiencing technical difficulties.
And we are...
Hey, how do I skip ahead to live broadcast? Come on.
I don't know. Oh, so it's just restarting for you?
We've been streaming for 4 minutes here.
But I stopped the stream a couple times.
People who hated the first half of the Star Trek season for not being.
I don't think people are going to enjoy watching us sort through our technical difficulties.
No.
Like,
People, we apologize.
It's pretty unacceptable here.
I apologize for nothing.
We appreciate you tuning in. Yeah, and just kind of giving us a moment to figure out all the doohickeys.
All the doohickeys? Oh, you're right. If we go here, it is showing that.
I told you they were listening to us. And look at that, there's a picture.
And the audio is coming in. But I'm not sure anyone else can even tune in because it does say 3 people are watching.
I'm sorry.
I think people can tune in.
Can
And I
people
think
see
those-
us? Should I put pants back on?
Never. Never
This is
put
like,
pants on.
just wear like a dickie and like a tie and like that's it. There's no pants.
Can't see anything from the waist down. Nothing from the waist down.
Full body shot, God. Really?
What's up with this?
I don't know what's up with that. This was your bit. You were going to take care of that. I took care of this bit.
Right
I
under
got
the
the
bus.
cameras and
Right under the
everything.
bus.
It is working. Dennis says it's working.
Yes.
I don't know why I'm seeing nothing on my page, but you know what? We're going to go ahead and just start the show, folks. All right. This is the TV Dudes, episode 171 of the TV Dudes podcast, recorded February 13th, 2018. The TV Dudes live! Hey! All right, folks.
Uh-oh.
We'll switch over to camera 1 again.
All right.
I'm Grant.
I'm Kyle.
This is Kyle.
Yes.
Over there we got Randy.
I'm ready.
I'm Les.
And yeah, this is what we look like.
If you can't tell,
Sorry.
we haven't done this before.
This is all work in progress. We are recording live from the Permanent Record Studios here
Mm-hmm.
in lovely Austin, Texas, where it's kind of cold and
What am
miserable.
I supposed to do with my hands?
You're doing... It's very awkward. Don't do that with your hands. Just rest them. Just rest them down. Bring them down. Bring them down. Folks, we are doing an experiment here. Like I said, we're doing our first live podcast recording. Second? We tried this once
Yeah.
before.
This is test 2.
We did an Emmy show at your house.
Yes,
We also did an Emmy show, but we did another one at Kyle's place a long time ago. We just had a camera there.
Oh, that was Facebook Live. Yeah, Mike Moody was there.
I've never been live on this thing, so this is new to me. It's my first TV Dudes Live.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Oh.
What are you thinking so far? Is it a mess?
It's fantastic.
It's fantastic.
So good.
You have
People
to say
get to
that.
see all the things that usually happen off mic.
Folks, so we're going to do generally our standard format of a show, but we might do a few cutaways and whatnot because, yeah, we have this video studio, so we wanted to test things out here and see how viable it might be if we were going to do a video show.
It'll get better than this.
Hopefully it'll
This
get
is
better than
You
this.
know, 3 people died making the first Saturday Night Live, so we're going to be better than that.
I did not
Lincoln's
know
Good
that.
Penny.
I made it up, but that's,
Well, we are going to be talking about a couple different shows here this week or today. We're going to be talking about Here and Now, which I guess is a brand new pilot on HBO. I didn't watch it, but you guys did.
We
So,
Did you
did.
see 6 Feet Under?
Yes.
You're good.
You saw it.
Oh, we're okay.
We're
I
there.
cannot go through that again. We're also going to be talking about the first season of Altered Carbon over on Netflix.
yeah.
Yeah, I think we're all pretty excited about that. And season 1 of Star Trek Discovery just wrapped up. It's 15 episode on CBS All Access debut new world in Star Trek franchise.
Pay to watch our TV.
Pretty exciting. So we're going to be talking about that as well, folks. But before we get into all that, we already did the whole introing ourselves. But I did want to say, if you guys want to help out our show, if this hasn't deterred you from such a thing.
Grant, this is so exciting to be able to watch your flop sweat as you pitch the Patreon. Usually it's all audio.
We have never needed your help more.
Just stay on those two while I pitch this, and it'll be okay. Go to iTunes. Go to the iTunes store. Give us a 5-star rating. Write a little review for us. That's a great free way to help us out, and we really appreciate that. We'll read your reviews here on the show. And another way to help us out is to go to patreon.com/tvdudes. There you can make a per-episode pledge. You can give us $1 or $2 an episode, whatever is in your wallet, or whenever you nab your parents' credit card, whatever you want to give us. We appreciate all that.
Or you can just, if you spit onto a reader, it will see what your DNA is and get your bank balance. Right? That's the thing that happens?
Just spit on anything you can until you get us some money.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a technology that exists. Yeah.
Yeah, what was it? Iska for your thoughts?
Oh yeah, an Iktha?
An Iktha?
I don't remember what it was. Something starts with an I.
Cute writing contrivance.
Yeah.
We remember that there was something.
Yes. That's why we're TV experts. We remember half of a thing.
Well, I was going to say, Grant, normally we just mention the Patreon, but now that we're video, we could play a commercial advertising our Patreon.
Can we actually cut over to it?
Guys, what? Yeah, we can cut over to it.
Okay.
Okay. Yes. Well, why you gotta jinx me like that, man? Why you gotta do me like that?
Hi, we're the TV Dudes.
We love watching and talking about TV.
Hi. We have been creating a podcast dedicated to discussing all things television since 2010.
And in that time, we've never played a single ad. Why? Because ads ruin the podcast experience.
And we know you're just going to skip the ads anyways. We are proudly 100% listener supported, and we're able to keep this podcast running and growing through your support through patreon.com/tvdudes. Man, that was pretty close.
Patreon.com makes it easier for listeners like you to sign up and pledge a couple bucks per podcast.
We will only be charged if we post a new episode.
For just $1 an episode or $4 a month, you'll be helping to support our podcast. A podcast that works to have great discussions about current TV shows with fun and humor.
But that's not all. By becoming a patron, you get access to exclusive bonus content.
Weekly mini podcasts covering a variety of pop culture topics.
Early previews of new projects we're working on.
And other fun content just for you.
And the money you give to the podcast is going directly to the show.
Well, I did buy that replica of the Partridge Family bus, but repainted in all neon colors to celebrate my great two passions in life, 1960s sitcoms and those hypercolor t-shirts from the 80s.
There's also that Real Rob podcast I'm working on. Check out the Kickstarter, Talking Real Rob.
I've been spending a lot of money trying to bring back Crystal Pepsi.
You know they brought that back, right?
Well, hell, I'll just have to spend it on, cocaine wine. It's mostly cocaine.
I'm so relieved, you guys. I've been diverting funds to pay for Terrier Season 2.
We do not profit off of this podcast. All of your contributions roll back into the site so that we can pay for site costs, so that we can get better equipment, so that we can go to TV festivals. Your money is not wasted in lining our pockets.
If you'd like to help support the show, go to patreon.com/tvdudes.
Thanks.
Well, I've been spending a lot of money trying to bring back Crystal Pepsi.
You know they already brought that back, don't you?
Hell! Guess I'll have to spend it. I'll have to spend it on cocaine wine.
Cocaine wine!
It's mostly cocaine.
They say it's mostly cocaine.
That was a fun night.
Oh, cue laughter of us.
I know. It's not so much a fade as just an abrupt cut.
We're great, guys.
Yeah, we definitely have this video stuff figured out, if you can't tell.
Yeah, so you guys can give us money at patreon.com/tvdudes. I'm not going to forget about that. Give us money. That's why we have the studio, in fact.
Yeah.
Because of support like you guys. So
That's why
thank
you're
you.
getting this video stream.
That's right. So do you guys want to do some?
Are free? No.
Do you guys want to do some listener questions?
Yes.
We should do that.
If you guys like our page on Facebook, once a week you guys can ask us questions, and we will do our best here on the show to answer them. Our first question comes to us from Morben Rubin, who says, "Hello, TV dudes. With Altered Carbon released on Netflix, is the Sci-Fi Channel dead? Altered Carbon was leagues above anything Sci-Fi has made in the past decade. How can the Sci-Fi Channel compete with that?"
The only argument I have is The Expanse. The Expanse is on the level of Altered Carbon. You don't think so?
It's a couple steps below, but I think it's
Well,
pretty close.
there's less dicks in it. I'll give you that.
Not enough dicks. That's my problem.
The Expanse plus dicks. That's Altered Carbon.
I still think Altered Carbon is a little nicer production value.
Yeah.
Down like on everything, costuming, score, all of it. But
Yeah.
but Sci-Fi Channel is dead. Sippy lives on. I mean,
As long as there's a Sharknado to be fought.
so Mindhunter happened, but CBS is still going.
Yeah.
I figure Sci-Fi is going to be fine.
Yeah, I think that's about right. They're still there. It's they're like the amateurs doing like a video podcast while someone out there is doing the Critical Role show.
HBO did True Detective, but there's still other procedures.
Yeah.
There's still plenty of room for bad TV.
Yes, that's Kyle nailed it. That's what I was trying to
That's Sci-Fi's new slogan, I think.
You have plenty of time in your week for awful TV.
I want to say the next question comes to us from Alec Miracle, who says, "Dudes, in honor of Lost," and hold up, I just got to stop here. If you guys thought that I like Lost, this guy, Alec Miracle, loves Lost.
Wait, Grant, do you like Lost?
I'm a huge fan of Lost.
Oh.
But Alec Miracle, it's like always on his mind. I feel like he's putting me to shame, or he's calling me to battle here. He's a bigger fan, yeah. We're in the Lost off.
Are you the man of science or the man of faith?
I'm a man of science.
Are you sure? When it comes to Lost, you may be the man of faith.
I believe I am.
wherever you think this fight's going, it's going to piss me.
Are you gonna jump at him like in
I'm gonna do a Jack,
like a Jack punch?
Shepherd Falcon punch. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
gonna be amazing. Alec Miracle says, "In honor of Lost, in all seriousness, if Lost was to sadly be revived, sadly he says, because it was perfect on its own, for no reason, but he goes on to say, the story ended. It was done. Over. No need for continuation.
Right. except
How or what would you do to like to see happen while still remaining in the continuity? And how would the series play out and still stay true to how it originally ended?"
I would like a lot more episodes about the characters' tattoos and where they got them. And
Get out of our studio right now.
I feel like if we're not going to see more Nikki and Paolo, there's no point in doing a reboot.
I'm gonna jump over this table.
And also, we never did find out who was in the outrigger when they time traveled. So I feel like probably they would answer that question. You guys should. Can you see Grant's angry eyes? Can you see them? This is why I do
We
it.
can.
Murder
Because
eyes!
we're live streaming.
Murder!
See, that's what the video is for, and that's a service I provide.
I feel like
It's legal protection for you.
I feel like there's two different ways to do it. Either what I would actually want is an anthology show just about the Dharma Initiative. Just cut back and give me like an ensemble show like The Path, but just instead of the Dharma Initiative.
I've watched that.
Separately, we could have a whole cast of heroes just show up, like people on the island start having like half the tattoo. And that would be rad. I would do that. Or everybody in the green room at the end of the final episode, and one by one they're interviewed by Letterman, and Netflix puts them out once a month.
I'm for all these ideas. I do think if you're going to reboot Lost, I think it's a terrible idea. I don't think Lost was a show of its time. I mean, I would have loved if Lost was a tighter 13-episode season show, but I think that I don't want them to go back and try and make it. I think something different, something on the outskirts. I also am nervous about them doing like a revival, kind of like the X-Files, because X-Files got all the bad parts and none of the good parts when they did the revival.
You know what? Reboot Lost is a 13-episode closed thing.
Yeah.
All of it in 13 episodes.
Yeah.
And that'd be badass.
Yeah.
I would watch them plow through the entirety of Lost in 13 episodes.
Oh my god!
Oh wait, all seasons
Yes.
in just 13
The whole
episodes?
story, the
13
whole
episodes.
story, complete, all of it. Barrel through it in 13 episodes.
What is wrong with you?
That would be amazing.
It would not make any sense. I feel you need the time.
You know what else? They should do it as a live show. 13
Yes.
hours live
Yes.
straight. no commercials, 13 hours, and never to be rerun again.
No, Randy, live shows are always crap,
That's true. Live is a terrible idea.
as evidenced by our live stream.
I don't think I should have given myself so many things to click on that could F up our live stream.
Oh, you just like toggling between the wrong things?
Yeah, that seems to be what's going on here. By the way, how's this audio coming through? We thought we had it figured out, but maybe our...
We got a comment from a Mr. Mike Moody who suggested that perhaps the mics aren't working properly. Sounds like it's just picking up audio from the cameras. I'm not sure.
Which
Would
we
know.
actually don't have any audio coming from the cameras. So, yeah, I'm wondering if we did our inputs wrong, maybe.
Or maybe it's just coming from this laptop. You guys can speak up.
Well, no,
Oh my
because
God.
you can see the laptop right there. There's no audio. This is coming from this device here. So,
Well, somehow I'm still planning to take and cut this episode and post this as our podcast as well.
Yeah.
So we are still using these microphones in front of us. These aren't just props.
if you are a fan of the podcast, you're going to get the podcast like normal this week, and it's probably going to sound like it normally does. I mean,
And there
when you
might be a
can't
bit of
see
us
it.
talking about visuals that people don't
And
understand.
you can sync it up with the video that'll be on YouTube, and then it'll all work perfectly.
I would love to meet the guy who would do that.
Oh boy. Let's hope that's not the case. All right, next question comes to us from Jonathan Huffnagel, who says, "Dear TV dudes, I just finished Altered Carbon moments before writing this, and it has left me feeling elevated. There was so much I loved, and it'll be replaying in my mind for the next few weeks. I also saw the finale of Star Trek Discovery last night, and it similarly left me hopeful with excitement for Season 2 and where the show will be going next. What shows ended so well and tied up so neatly and fulfilled you that you were left with a similar sense of joy and elevation?"
Well, The Shield was an amazing wrap-up, but I would not call that joy and elevation.
Yeah, and 6 Feet Under, I was a big old sobbing mess. So
Parks and Rec. Parks and Rec had a fantastic
Parks and Rec
ending.
did wrap up beautiful.
That is a
And
great
Left
example.
me feeling happy and elevated.
Yeah,
Yes.
Halt and Catch Fire was an amazing ending, but I was a blubbering mess. Like it hurt. It was just great, but
Yeah.
same with like it was the 6 feet under kind of thing. Like that's great, but it's not fun.
there's something kind of neat about Mad Men.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
scene where you don't know which way that the future could have gone with that, but it can be whatever you make of it in a way.
You know what I think of is the Colbert Report.
I never watched the ending.
Oh my
Oh,
gosh.
yeah, that finale.
ending, it had me in tears. He had like a ton
Yeah,
of people out.
Arby's.
They, that's the Daily Show ending. That was a really good one too.
Yeah, that was good.
But
too.
with Colbert, it was like he same difference. No, you knew that he was doing more, and now look, he's late night it again.
Also, the ending of Friends, when Ross and Rachel finally get together, that's what happened at the end of Friends, right?
Yeah, I'm like, what about that X-Files finale? Who knows? I don't remember.
X-Files is still on air. We're watching
Yeah.
that podcast.
Somehow it's back. You can't seem to kill the X-Files. All right, next question comes to us from... What are your favorite, if any, live formats of normally recorded TV?
30 Rock.
That's exactly the first one I thought.
Man, that 30 Rock live show
I
was
watched
so
both of those,
good. Yes,
both
both of them.
those.
Yes, they're
Great.
amazing.
Anybody remember? Was it Rock?
Rock did
It
one.
was live. I mean, that show was.
Was it always
for
live?
The longest time. Yeah, I think it was live.
I think you're
Live
right.
episodes. Undateable. Most recently.
That's
not
right.
a great
I
sitcom.
forgot that the live show was supposed to be good though.
Yeah, it was. It didn't. I wouldn't say it got substantially funnier, but the sitcom Undateable that was having some problems. Chris D'Elia,
Chris D'Elia
was
and
on it.
Ron Funches.
Ron Funches was on it. They did a whole season live, and the risk of it definitely added an energy to the show and made it a lot more watchable.
like as with our show,
Yes.
the risk of it really adds to it.
We're
Also,
on the edge here, guys.
There was another. Oh, Drew Carey did a live episode, I think, at one point,
Mhm.
and I think that was a really fun one. Actually, I am all in favor of comedies doing live shows. I think in general, it does add to the energy and it's good. And I mean, Saturday Night Live has proven to be pretty
Live-ish, yeah.
ish. Yeah, I'm a fan of comedies trying live shows. Dramas less so.
They need to do a live Good Place where they like freak people out and make them think like maybe they're in the life, maybe not.
It sounds like a Simpsons Treehouse of Horrors.
The thing that was so impressive about the 30 Rock live show is that 30 Rock was not a show built for live. Like, they did cutaways to different eras and different shows, and people would like do rapid costume changes. Like, it was truly like watching theater on TV. It was really great.
Like Madcap.
Yeah.
All right, we got. I'm just gonna grab one more question here. Kyle Volti says, "Okay, TV dudes, in honor of Poe, the character from Altered Carbon, what AI hotel theme would you want to be the guest of?"
I want to go and live at the Star Wars hotel. They're going to open at Disney. That's going to be an AI hotel eventually, right?
What would you do there? Just like freeze on Hoth or sweat on Tatooine?
I'd go with spend money.
Yeah, I'd probably spend a lot of money.
I think that's what you're going to do.
Yeah,
there.
that's what you're going to do there. Also, any of the sort of like, if there was a Marvel Cinematic Universe AI hotel where you could stay in like the helicarrier, I'd do that for sure.
Ooh, that would be cool.
Or Avengers Tower, or Avengers Mansion, or whatever else they've got.
Just like Tony Stark's beach house before it got destroyed.
Yeah. That'd be great.
Having seen the rest of the AI management union, just Poe. It seems like every other AI management thing has moved on to selling humans in whatever way they can, and only Poe seems still weirdly interested in just observing us creepily. Either way, like, he seems to be the one AI in that show that I went, I could grudgingly get some trust going with you.
Yeah, you lucked out and picked like the one decent one.
Yes. Sitting around that poker table, I was like, wow, I'm lucky as fuck. Yeah, I have many questions about AI hotels, but I think just Poe.
Grant, you'd stay in a Lost Hotel.
Oh yeah, I'd stay in the Lost Hotel. I'd go sleep in the caves with the Adam and Eve characters, or in the Golden Light pool.
People were like, why?
All the soaps would have little Dharma initiatives on them. The towels.
It would be so amazing.
Yeah.
Can you imagine?
And those USA Todays that they leave outside, they would just be Dharma papers. Generic news.
One lucky hotel guest has to push a button in their room. Or the whole shit goes red.
Yeah. Everyone gets a wake-up alarm every 108 minutes. You're like, this place was a mistake.
And the room numbers, they say the certain room numbers, it's very bad.
Yeah. All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and take a break here. And we will be back. We're going to skip our news section this week because we're already doing some crazy stuff here.
Yeah.
But we'll be back to talk about the shows in just a little bit.
And we're back!
Oh shit, I missed it!
We're back! You missed your cue! I queued it all up!
Hey folks, we are back and we're going to be talking in order. First on Here and Now over on HBO. Then we're going to do Altered Carbon, which is on Netflix. And then we're going to wrap things up talking about Star Trek Discovery, Season 1. But first up, Here and Now. So there's a brand new Alan Ball show over on HBO. I did not get a chance to check this out, but I know that you three did. What'd you guys think?
That's a really well done Alan Ball show. If you like Alan Ball shows, it is Alan Ball.
Did
Alan
you
Ball's
like?
out.
Did you like 6 Feet Under? Would you like more?
What if 6 Feet Under did not have a funeral home?
Now, see, here's the thing. Like, Alan Ball, he did 6 Feet Under, but he also did True Blood.
Mm,
And
This is not
this is
True
not
Blood
True
Alan
Blood.
Ball.
Charlene Harris, I think, had the lady that wrote the novel. Is that her name?
Yeah,
That wrote
Charlene
the
Harris.
novels?
That's right.
Yeah, like True Blood doesn't feel like Alan Ball. Like watching it, and I went, why did he pick this project?
But, like, the first episode of 6 Feet Under has, like, this bizarre quirkiness that felt like, okay, I guess this is the mode of Alan Ball, and then they kind of drop some of that
Yeah.
silliness.
Yeah.
I
And
feel
I
like
didn't
this
know-
is going to do that.
Okay, so it has some, like,
So there's
quirks.
a character that hallucinates. So 6 Feet Under has awkward airport sex, like right at the start, right before heading to like a big family function. So there's kind of some guilt, shame. You were fucking around, literally.
Yeah.
This opens with almost the same thing. You have awkward Tim Robbins sex with a prostitute, and then he's on the way to a family thing, and there's some shame, crying involved. A character hallucinates, and you're not sure if it's like legit magic happening or what. Kind of the way that I spent a good portion of the first season of 6 Feet Under, thinking that this show might actually have a supernatural element because his dad actually seemed to lead him to an apartment he couldn't have known about. But it's not really magical. He's just remembering his dad real strongly. It seems like in that show. And here I got done with the first episode going, if there really is something magic in the world in this show, I might love this show by the end of season 1. I'm pretty sure they're going to drop what's magical and that somebody's just hallucinating.
It's going to be family drama stuff.
And it's just going to be family drama in a world that occasionally reminds you that the world is neat. And it's incredibly well done. Holly Hunter fucking kills it.
Holly Hunter's always great.
She's always great. Tim Robbins does really great in this.
That
I'm
dude
not
got
the
old.
world's biggest Tim Robbins fan. He does great in this. The kids are all great, but it felt forced to me. It felt
what is the
really-
premise again?
Who the fuck knows? Really?
Okay.
Yeah, that's 100. So
Family
basically,
dysfunction.
yeah, it's a whole family again. You got Tim Robbins is a character. He's married to Holly Hunter. All the kids come together at his 60th birthday party, and he has kind of a breakdown while giving a speech. And then one of his kids maybe, I don't know. It seems like a lot of the kids are adopted because you don't get much wider than Tim Robbins.
All the
and Holly
kids are
Hunter.
adopted except the daughter that looks like him.
The daughter, okay, yeah. So it's sort of multicultural, and these it's sort of this. Oh, look how multicultural the family is.
The parents are insufferable
Yeah.
academics, and
Yeah.
the kids very much resent being an experiment family.
I resent being forced to watch it.
One of the kids there's somebody loses, like a 17-year-old loses her virginity while wearing a rubber horse head mask
Yeah,
in a
you know.
treehouse. Basically, like, and Tim Robbins is just basically Michael Douglas from Wonder Boys.
Yeah,
Yeah, I heard the title, and that was enough of a turnoff for me. Here and Now just sounds so, like...
I thought it was like a TV version of that NPR radio show.
Yeah.
You're now listening to Here and Now.
No, he's written kind of a Deepak Chopra type thing back in the day. He's a philosophy professor.
Yeah.
And so Here and Now is the name of his book.
I did like the son who is not a psychologist,
Motivational architect.
but a motivational architect.
Yes, and Holly Hunter Moxford, she's
She's the best character in it.
great, but her character is insufferable.
Oh yeah, she's awful. But they're all awful people, and I feel like they
She's-
deserve to be
I
harangued.
feel like she and Jennifer Jason Leigh from
Yeah, from
Atypical
yeah,
would hang out.
yeah, you're right. Yeah, oh my God, yeah, the two of them could have a great time.
I was thinking that exact same thing.
You know, all of that aside, like I there's a lot about the show I just didn't care about. I just didn't really. That said, Alan Ball can write like a motherfucker. Everybody involved with this show knew what they were doing. It looks beautiful. The hallucination stuff is done really well. Like it's incredibly well put together, and there's still kind of nothing there for me.
It is an excellent execution of a boring
Yes.
idea.
All right, well, skip that one then.
So, yeah, don't buy HBO just for that.
Well, let's go ahead and jump over to Altered Carbon because buy all the Netflix for Altered Carbon.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Altered Carbon is this cyberpunk future where we have people are able to download their consciousness into memory chips that go in the back of their head and like move them between different bodies so you can inhabit other bodies, and basically it's a key to immortality if one has the financial means for it.
Yes.
And if you don't have the financial means, and say you get hit by a car, you get put in some random some random prisoner,
Yeah, you just get dropped into some other bodies.
You are still immortal, but you aren't in control of it.
right? Or if you're, say, a cop, you could put your grandma in some Skell's body and bring him to your Day of the Dead celebration, which I
Once a
thought was
year.
amazing.
Yeah. That
Love that
That was so
episode.
good.
That was so great.
Okay, so this show we're going to spoil for
Yes.
you guys. So just a little word of warning to all of you guys. There's going to be some spoilers. If you haven't watched this and you want to take a little bit of a timeout, go.
And it's a gorgeous looking show, especially when you're on what this guy's on right here. No, like it is an amazing show. You should definitely check it out.
Yeah, the effects, the world that they've built here is not a world I necessarily want to live in. Like, I don't know.
No.
I always see
But it's
these
the one I want to spend more time
these like crazy like tech like high tech futures, and I'm like, oh, it's so depressing to me. And this is like a bleak show.
Yeah.
It can be very emo, but it's also super violent and like very fascinating with the character dynamics. It's rich in its backstory and this like world that feels really thought out.
Well, this is based on a series of books by Richard K. Morgan, who is one of the early cyberpunk adopters. Like William Gibson is generally thought of as the grandfather of cyberpunk, that as a genre. But Richard K. Morgan was early in, and he's done several. I've never read any of these books, but I am a huge cyberpunk fan. I came in on William Gibson stuff, and then I played the role-playing game, and I sort of loved the aesthetic. And I didn't know that anyone was ever going to make a TV show that was so perfectly encapsulated, and this really does. Like it, this is perfect cyberpunk.
So this show has a couple of pretty complicated sci-fi concepts. I mean, anytime you watch a sci-fi show, they're going to have explained how their time travel works or how their tech or whatever works. Randy and I were talking about this before. One of the things I love that Altered Carbon is able to do is that you have a character, like, we're in a future that isn't just the future, it's that future's future.
Yeah.
Like, we're a long fucking way from now, right? So even if you got me to a flying car Jetsons future that I could wrap my head around, if you dropped me from here to Altered Carbon, I don't think I'd roll.
So even our main character, he dies in the beginning and jumps ahead
Yeah.
250 years.
So I love that our in character into this world, Takashi, like is he's a future man already. Like the future he's in would be Jetsons to us, that he's from.
So he's fish out of water.
He's fish out of water 250 years ahead. So you kind of get this fun leapfrog effect of like getting used to the tech, and then like he's used to some things but not others.
But that whole plot device allows him to be the audience eyes as well.
Yeah.
So he has to have everything explained to him. So we also get introduced to this whole world.
Yeah.
Sure.
And they also get to do a few things where he doesn't have to have them explained, and you get some narrative kind of backstory by him just knowing some shit or having flashbacks or whatever. I kind of liked getting it from both, like kind of having both directions of the timeline shown to you a little bit.
One of the things I liked about this, and you can sort of see it, they sort of nod at it, is that this is the premise of Dollhouse done better.
Mm-hmm.
The
Yes.
premise of changing bodies. And there were several Dollhouse alumni in this show.
Yeah, that's kind of
So I think
bizarre,
they- I
but
think
like
they
his
were nodding
sister.
to it, so
and
Yeah, was it Horizon 1 or whatever, the final episode of Dollhouse that was jumped ahead, epilogue.
Yeah, this is like future from that. But yeah, the premise of are you your body? Are you your personality? What happens if you can edit things? That's all built into Altered Carbon, and it's done so much better.
Yeah, I would really want to read these books because the show's gorgeous and it's really well acted, and I like it as a TV show. It's amazing, but it's also a sci-fi world. It's fucking great. It's got one of the coolest. I love the idea of what happens to humans when you don't have a constraint of death.
Yeah.
To check your shittier impulses or to stop inherited wealth, and that some people would get so far ahead that there's no catching them ever.
Right. And then the idea that people would worship them as gods.
Yes, and then of course there would be Neo-Sees, the new Catholicism that has coding put in so that you can't be spun back up.
Yeah.
And
What it does to murder investigations, that you can actually ask the victim who killed them.
Mhm.
Like there's all kinds of, there are so many potential questions about this technology. They don't answer all of them because you couldn't.
you have somebody that is,
But it's like so much of it is thought.
They think through a lot of it. Yeah.
somebody's accidentally or is just dead, isn't rich enough to have their own body spun back or to get sleeved into or whatever. So you're just dead, right? But your stack is still in existence, so you're somewhere. And I
They have
think
a little girl dropped into like
Yeah.
an old dude's body.
but I think they mentioned at one point, like, yeah, I don't know, I just woke up and there was a grad student who had found my stack in a pile of stacks that were nobodies that you could use for random shit, and like, you could just wake up 200 years in the future and go,
Yeah.
what the hell? And like, they've DNA grown you a clone that
Yeah.
looks like you, like,
You could put your ex into a snake.
yeah. That was fucked up, and I mean, there's laws again. God,
Yeah.
I thought about the Black Mirror.
Yeah, you can double sleeve and have a threesome with yourself and one other person. That was a thing that's promised earlier. There's
well,
some,
double sleeping will get you real death, though. If you
Yeah.
get caught.
yeah,
So we have this Asian character, Takeshi
Kovacs.
Kovacs.
And they explained his parents are
Japanese and
Polish?
Slovak, Polish or
I
something.
think something like that.
Yeah, well, the whole time I was watching this, and you see Kovacs on there, and then they always say Kovac or something like that. I'm like, I would not phonetically say that. And so I'm like, I can't, I kept reading his name instead of like knowing, okay, how do they say it again every time? For like 10 episodes. But then we have Joel Kinnaman is the new sleeve, the new body that he's dropped into.
Yep.
And Joel, there we go, visual cue.
Joel Kinnaman's ripped, man.
That dude,
Dude.
he put in some effort for RoboCop and for Justice League, and
Suicide
now
Squad.
he's really able to show his dick cleavage off. It's like his 12-pack just like going down.
I'm glad that he had this show where he sort of got to makes use of his ripped up body, because if you put all that work, all that dieting, all that workout for Suicide Squad, that's not cool, man. That's not cool.
My Suicide Squad bud.
Like, I loved this guy when I first saw him on The Killing.
He's the best part of the game.
Yeah, he's a fantastic character, but he's also kind of this like, I don't know if I would say Keanu Reeves, but there's something kind of like
a
this
little bit.
Reminds me of
California
Thomas
dude thing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Jane.
I
I think
guess.
that's an Expanse thing too, but
Thomas
it reminds me
Jane.
of Thomas Jane.
Yeah, and so like him like having to like also incorporate this history of like other cultures and other kind of ideology and like into this body of Joel Kinnaman, the actor. I'm
Yeah.
like, I don't know.
I thought he pulled it off well, though. I think
As it goes along, I think like it.
I didn't notice it so much with him, but one thing I wanted to talk about was how all the actors are doing like an Orphan Black level, or several of the actors are doing an Orphan Black level good job.
Man,
The gang sleeve, the gang tatted up sleeve.
yeah,
that is
that
the,
guy who plays the
grandma?
abuela,
Dini?
that's so good.
Demi the twins.
Well, there's Demi the twins, and at one point, this dude is Demi.
Yeah.
But he's also an abuela, and then we see him when he first walks into the police station. He just says something scummy.
Yeah,
That actor is phenomenal.
yeah.
That
plays
guy.
several different versions of that
I
character.
mean, at no point do I need to. We were talking about this in Combat the other day, where you can just tell the difference of J.K. Simmons in the same clothes. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's obviously not the other dude. There was a lot of times on this show where I knew exactly who was walking into that room.
Like the guy who the mom ends up going into that guy's body,
Yeah,
and
Yes.
you see, it's weird to see the whole relationship dynamics have to shift because you're like, your consciousness is still there. It's still this person I love, but who's looking at me is this
Right.
other dude
Yeah.
like in this body, and it's
People
just like,
flinch sometimes and get it wrong of like, hey, you're not you. You're like somebody I knew.
well, there's that great moment. Declan Lockman played this, of course, in Dollhouse. So she had experience with playing different people in the same body, but she isn't the one who has to play herself. She establishes the character, and then the detective, when she's inhabiting her, the actress who plays that detective really sells it. Like, you get that sort of evil glint. It's really well done.
Yeah, other people have to play like her. This is also one of my favorite shows I've seen Jane Purefoy in. I mean, I generally like
What's great here.
I generally like that actor. He was in the show where Kevin Bacon killed all those people.
Following.
Yes.
He was the bad guy in that. Okay.
yeah,
Kevin Bacon was the bad guy in it. Yes.
No, wait.
No, James Purefoy
James
was.
Purefoy was the bag.
Yes,
Kevin
the
Bacon
murderer.
with a lot of bodies in his wake. I'm
Yeah.
just saying, if he was a serial killer, he was a serial killer on the following. I think it was Kevin
He
Bacon.
was the protagonist.
Okay.
But he was like Dexter. It was like Dexter.
Yes. So Purefoy was in that, and then Happen Leonard, but he kills it as Lawrence Bancroft, the like, crazy godlike rich.
Yep.
Separate from the what happens to people when they live past death and get too fucked up, this show also introduces like how I want to know how you keep track of your DNA. Like if you live in a world where my bank account's tied to my DNA, there's also a whole lot of people get shot in this show. It would seem like you would have a Dexter-type file cabinet of shit at home of random people just to try it. I mean, shit. Like, oh, shit, that slide didn't work. Let me try this one.
Yeah,
Like,
for sure.
One of these is bound to be beryllium level rich.
Did your camera go to sleep?
No,
No, there's
camera pops up a little notification that
Yeah,
you should
so
get some sleep time, buddy.
the thing is, so like, here's how
The
janky
camera's
our
super
recording setup
judgy.
is right now. So I'm not actually using this camera that's on my phone. What it is it's a screen grab from the camera, and I just have like the browser turned off, like all the controls to the camera. Anyways, my alarm to tell me to go to bed just popped up on the screen while we were recording.
Well, I guess you're
I
really
mean,
boring,
everybody at
Wes.
home knows this. They just saw it, but
Yeah. It says if you want to get 5 hours of sleep, which I also thought was like,
Jesus,
aw.
Kyle.
I rock it. I do what I do.
You need more sleep.
Also, we should talk about Poe,
Yes.
the AI Hotel, played by Chris Connor, who I don't know from anything else particular.
You know, when this started, seeing Poe, I was like, what are you doing? You got to have some cutesy element with some character from history being like recreated here.
I paid more attention to him simply because a couple of people had already said, holy shit, Poe.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Yeah.
really? We're getting free? Okay.
Yeah, but he's not. He took the affectation of Edgar Allan Poe, and
Yeah.
everybody, and all the other AIs make fun of him for it.
And then it ends up like he's one of the best characters.
He's one of the best characters.
Yeah. I
He's
watched
a-
a Poe show.
Ironically, one of the most human characters.
They also credit him with that near the end of the season.
Yeah.
And it was a pretty good moment.
Yeah. Also, they spent a lot of time this season on setting a thing up that then becomes important later. Like, they spent a lot of time on Takashi's sister. And you're like, well, that's backstory stuff. And then it becomes real important right about episode 6.
Yeah.
And they spent a lot of time on the mercenary dude's daughter, Lizzie.
Yeah, and you're not sure what that's going to become.
And then it pays off beautifully in episode like 9 or 10. But yeah, I think they do a lot. They do a lot of good job where they layer us in backstory. Like they go back and do flashbacks. In fact, episode 7 is almost entirely flashback to 250 years ago when Takashi was one of the envoys and what the envoys were, and what they tried to do, and why, and all that stuff is really interesting. But it reinforms everything you just watched. I've seen several people say, "Watch Altered Carbon once to enjoy it, then watch it again to understand it."
Yeah. I was thinking maybe I'll just read Wikipedia later.
Watching his turn when he betrays the Protectorate.
Yeah.
I mean, he isn't betrayed to become an envoy. He doesn't know what those are yet, but it's one of the best done, most believable for me moments of like turning on friends like that, or turning on his squad like that.
Yeah. Well, and when he and his sister sort of turn on everybody.
Yes, that was a wonderful like back to back.
You know what it reminded me of, and this is a weird reference, but Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
Oh wow! I was going to say the throne scene in Last Jedi.
Not bad. Also good, but the Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie movie, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, where they team up. They've been trying to kill each other all movie. They team up to take down the hit squad. It's a good action scene. It's Doug Lamont. And this reminded me of it.
There's a lot of phenomenal fight scenes in this. I kept watching Altered Carbon and realizing that several other shows aren't at the like, oh, you've seen better because I had not seen something this good in a minute.
They just do it like so effortlessly.
All of the Marvel Netflix shows, save for the hallway, like a couple of fights in Daredevil, all of the Marvel Netflix shows need to step their fucking game up.
Well, when
Altered Carbon kicked the shit out of those.
Detective Ortega is trapped and fighting a ton of naked clones.
Oh my god! Okay,
Great.
Okay, it reminded me a little bit of like Preacher.
do the
Yeah.
vault windows not open?
Yeah.
Apparently they maybe they're open fast enough.
I was like, why do you have to break every one of these vault windows? Are there not doors out of the pods?
Because
Pod
it's
failure. Bam.
Yeah.
It's like,
But it's
shit.
just brutal
All that
to
growing
show how
glass.
she can just throw bodies out of
And I love
situations.
that. Like, do you know
No,
how much money you cost?
Yes.
Um,
Which, by the way,
holy fuck.
she has enough money that she doesn't have to worry about it, but still pisses her off.
Yeah. Oh, well, one of the ladies earlier, like, sometimes I spin the clones up and just let them play. Like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, rich people are fucking weird.
Yeah, they're like the violence on this was really amped up. I mean, we have like that brutal torture scene.
Oh yeah.
Ton of nudity going on
Lots
also
of
in this.
Yeah.
That torture scene, not so much the torture scene, but the scene directly following it is one of the rare times in anything where Takashi's a character that says stuff like, I don't really care about anybody and I'm horrible. Like, and characters say that kind of shit
Sure,
all the time.
yeah.
Like, I'm the baddest of the bad and I don't care about... Nope. He's actually partially burned out in his brain as far as, like trained to be violent as fuck and to want to hurt people to make his point and shit. Like, he shouldn't be loose in free society. Really. And so rather than just say a bunch of balls out, I'm the toughest, he does a bunch of shit that is terrifyingly sudden and violent. When he walks out of that torture thing, he doesn't just kill everybody in the room that actually were torturing him.
He kills everyone on his way
He
out.
kicks that door open and starts firing, and when the cops show
He
back up to that
massacres,
building,
yeah.
man, there's 25 or 30 fucking people dead in that room.
Yeah.
He killed everyone in that office walking out. If you had a uniform on working there,
Yeah.
and the look on his face when he walks out of the place is shaken and hurt and post-traumatic, and I'm sitting there going, wow, other shows might have backed off this or pulled back or had him, like, have a heart or call the cop.
Nope.
No.
Nope. He murdered everyone there.
No, I'll kill all of you and burn this building down.
Because I got abs.
Oh, look at those sexy abs are back. Yeah, you brought up the other point about him. He's supposed to be this big badass, but we're constantly shown that this guy has this heart. He's compassionate, and he's building this like network of friends that are supposed to be sacrificial, but he can't sacrifice anyone.
Yeah.
Like he is a guy that has just like constantly craved family.
Yeah.
And he can flip that off for a job and murder other people, but
He's
like,
fully aware that that's not helping him. But,
yeah,
but
it just seems like if he makes even like a little bit of a connection with someone,
Yeah.
they're his bro for life.
he's just desperate for it. Yeah,
Yeah.
I do love throughout the whole show his training stuff coming back. Like when he, I mean, it seems so fucking mercenary when he's first buying the guns and he agrees to help the guy's daughter and all this stuff, and you can hear it in his head, like, make friends. That guy's impressed by this gun. I can build this up. When he gathers people in a group because he's watching the percentage of which of them believe and how you can convince a group of, like, I'm trying to convince Kyle, but I'm going to get 10 people in a room because I can convince a group, and the group think will convince Kyle.
Yeah.
And like, but he's running those Sherlock Holmes-ish kind of plays in his head. Like, I loved all the envoy intuition shit. It wasn't too heavy-handed. It
Yeah.
was,
It's pretty consistent.
I
Yeah.
liked the idea of the envoy. I liked the idea of someone who could basically drop into another body and then just become part of that society. It's kind of the scary secret agent type thing.
Yeah.
They do that thing in the very beginning where you can like see through walls and like you can
Yeah.
anticipate certain things. They do kind of end up dropping that for a few
Well,
like
that's-
scenes going like
That's
through.
because that's in Takashi's body. That's
Yeah.
cyberware.
yeah, that's and somebody points that out. The woman in the room with him says, "What? You can see through walls now?"
Yeah, that's cybernetics.
Oh.
It's probably much more explicit in the book, but yeah, that's a cybernetic implant. He can see through walls because he has cybernetic senses.
Oh, okay.
So that's why he doesn't have
why
it again.
Joel Kinnaman didn't have it.
When he wakes up, that is not in his body.
But
Yes.
Kinnaman's body has all this combat muscle memory on top of shit he already knew.
And those
Yeah,
abs!
and those abs.
And those abs.
Oh, cut! No,
Wait,
those abs.
He
You
can't
can
make
practically
his,
see his dong in
He
that
can't make
pic.
his cheekbones expand at will like Matt Frewer can.
That's true.
Oh, Matt Frewer!
By the way, that's another, like, just like they had all the Dollhouse guys in here. The other one was the dude who was his original torturer, the first body that one guy is in. That's another Dollhouse alumni. There's a couple of those. But Matt Frewer was the original Cyberpunk show. He was on the Max Headroom.
Yeah.
And that is as cyberpunk as you got in the 80s. That was a pretty cyberpunk show. So it's nice to see him here. He's great playing this sort of psychotic body mod guy. When he's watching them fight, he gets that bloodthirsty look in his eye.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, really impressive. Happy to see him on a top-notch show.
So overall, I think we were all pretty amazed with this.
Yes.
Thumbs up?
Thumbs up.
Thumbs up?
Yes.
Yeah. Definitely go check out Altered Carbon, guys. I don't think we actually ended up spoiling too much there, but it's just well worth watching.
Yeah.
Spoil those abs!
Oh, shit. Look at those
You
abs.
spoiled those abs!
All right, well, I think it's time for us to ignore what I just did and jump over to talking about Star Trek Discovery. Now, you guys know that I do a weekly podcast about Star Trek Discovery.
Yeah, you do.
And I've talked about this show enough, but you guys have been jonesing to discuss it.
Yeah.
What'd you think?
So, Les, which ones are the Klingons again? Which one are the Vulcans? Do you know?
The Klingons are the blue guys with the antenna.
Right. Okay, that's what I thought.
all right. Enough of that. I don't confuse those anymore.
I actually watched the back half. Like, I had not watched any of this back half of this season. When they changed, when they took the break, the mid-season break, it kind of messed up their stride for me.
Yeah.
And I just, when it came back on, I just didn't care about it.
Oh man, I was jonesing. I was ready. I was like the weekend before. I'm like, Star Trek Discovery's back. I've been.
It was like
I'm
all the
into
stuff
this.
that bothered me. They kind of gnawed at me a little bit in the first season. It just all kind of stuck with me. When they, so I sat down today and I binge watched the back half of the second season today.
So all the Mirror Universe stuff.
All of it.
Yeah.
Those first 2 episodes back are fucking amazing.
Yeah.
And by having it be the Mirror Universe, I get half season of the Mirror Universe, but then they actually managed to do the thing that I was terrified that Trek wasn't going to do. That they had made a Trek show that was basically mocking the Federation ideals because they couldn't figure out what the fuck else to do with it in 2018. And I only say that because I got 2 of the most dour Superman movies ever made.
Yeah.
And so I know that there's a hard time figuring out how to do
Optimism.
Yeah.
now. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But instead, the whole thing is
They had
about.
Burnham, the character that scared me at the start, learn it. This season, I felt like the direction in the final episode was a little uneven, but I watched a shitload of this season. Overall, I'm so impressed with it.
This was my Game of Thrones, man. I was so happy with it.
Damn it! It was okay. Hey! I fucked up our quick cut.
Yeah, you accidentally cut it a little bit early. What up, guys?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we were wearing this outfit.
Yeah, just the
Have
whole
you guys
time.
been dressed like that the whole time?
There, that's the line we needed.
No, they're the same 2 guys that were here.
Yeah, no.
Are we sure they didn't get? They're not in different sleeves.
We just beamed down.
So for you listening, Kyle and I switched to our
yeah.
Star Trek garb.
And
These are not
USS,
comfortable.
not ISS.
I don't know. I feel like
Yes.
I got a decent sized one.
I would not wear this on a ship. Ugh.
You wouldn't have a choice.
I guess.
Because you know what? Kyle's in the red command garb, and he'd be like, you know what, Grant? Put on the shirt.
No.
Cover your abs.
Oh wait, I thought I'm in the red shirt. That means I die.
No, that's in the previous. In Next Generation, the red shirt means your command, and gold is for engineering and security.
That's
Nerd. Get out of here, nerd. Yeah, so this show, I mean, I'd never watched Star Trek up until this point. I'd seen the Abrams movies, that was about it. And I saw Wrath of Khan, but I saw it at Master Pancake where they were making fun of it.
Oh my God.
So I was like,
What a great way to see that for the first
yeah, I'm
time.
like, I don't know. I guess it is funny. What's going on there? I don't know. But yeah, this season, it seems like they took Star Trek and like tailor-made it for someone like me, who now has this modern sensibility about how like these TV shows should kind of play out.
Yeah.
And this is just perfect, right up my alley. The character development. I love that we get this 2-episode basically like prologue that kicks off the entire season, and that I guess that was the imprint of Brian Fuller there.
Yeah.
But it really sets the tone for, this ain't your daddy's Star Trek.
Or your
gonna-
granddaddy Star Trek.
It's going to be a little bit more edgy.
Yeah.
And it was. I think like everything like you were saying, Les, they paint a bleak world for a bit, or I guess universe, with all this war and them like struggling and like trying to like everyone's betraying each other. But if you take a normal Star Trek episode and expand it over 13 episodes and maintain that kind of drama, I feel like that's what we got. We get it starts off with optimism, and then it gets rough, and then at the end they kind of tag back on the remember our true ideals, and this is what Star Trek means.
Well,
We
that's
get
what I
that in the
think-
final episode.
That's one thing I really liked is that we've never spent that many episodes in the Mirror Universe before. It's usually been a one-part. I don't think it's been a two-parter before. I think it's always been like a one-parter. Maybe Enterprise did a two-parter.
I feel like part of that is that I'm living in the kind of times where you can do a whole season of the Mirror Universe.
Yeah, but also I mean, the whole point.
It's great times we're living in now. Great times.
The whole point of the Mirror Universe, though, was to show that the Enterprise that even
What if Trump won? that was this.
even in
Made
wartime
the Empire glorious again.
the
Lord fucking said it.
even in wartime the Federation is still optimistic, especially when you counterbalance you contrast it with the Mirror Universe. I think that's one of the reasons that was the second half, and then especially when we come back from the Mirror Universe and it's about we're losing the war and we have this resource in the Mirror Universe and we're going to use it to win the war and abandon our principles. And the character who basically committed a mutiny and started a war and was sort of the dark becomes the person who is embodies the principles and stands up for them at a time when it's not convenient and it could be the end of the Federation.
Yeah.
She even goes on to say, this isn't. I don't believe in second chances, but she kind of got a second chance
Yeah.
there. There's a big element of redemption to her story.
Yeah.
Well, and redemption's it doesn't quite work out, but she tries to sort of redeem Philippa.
Yeah.
I mean, she was fantastic. Burnham was so great throughout this season, and it's tough to have to be cast as the person who is of two worlds, but she's part Vulcan and part human because she was raised Vulcan, and so she's supposed to reject like emotion and in a way be robotic, but she also is human, and so she has to show that she's constantly suppressing emotions, and like how that culminates to the point where she embraces her humanity and her compassion, and makes that the driving force that kind of saves the day for everything.
By the way, I would totally watch a spin-off of Mercenary Georgia Philippa, seeing what she's up to now that she's in our universe.
Her and Harry Mudd just hanging out together.
Oh yeah, maybe with that Orion dude played by Clint Howard as their
Yes.
champion
That would be great.
Give those guys a ship. Give me a spin-off. I'll watch it.
I liked how they handled the Mirror Universe as well. I feel like too often, go to a parallel world where everybody's evil, and everybody's evil just because they're evil, because it's a universe where everybody's evil, and evil is just a default. And that doesn't make any sense, and it doesn't teach any lessons, and we don't learn anything about ourselves by watching it, I don't feel like. This impressed me because Burnham nails what's wrong with the Mirror Universe. These people are all scared. The change isn't that they're all evil. The change is that they're all not connected to each other. They're all out for themselves. So everybody's always on the lookout for the knife in your back. And that level of paranoia your whole life makes everybody like this, and it makes the world like this. And it started making sense that one of the problems I had in the first half of the season was that it wasn't just one or two people. There were several characters that were not fucking Star Trek to me, that were just arguing. A couple of people argued cold against Federation principles. Some of them died through just random shit. I think a tardigrade killed the weapons officer that I was like, you shouldn't be in Starfleet.
And then she shows back up in the Mirror Universe, and she's great there.
Yeah. But it started making sense that, if you put a few people from the Mirror Universe in our world and gave them any kind of command, there are people here that would flock to them.
Yeah.
There are people here that would be good, that would be broken towards bad by them. That's all it would take would just be the nudging to me. That's why Starfleet's important, is to constantly nudge us towards good.
You're saying if there was one sort of evil, shitty person who was put in charge, that all these evil, shitty people
It
would
might
sort of
embolden
gather toward them.
Yes.
And, maybe...
Or at least they come out of the shadows.
a fascistic movement might start, or be emboldened by this shitty person being in charge.
It's an alternate
in science
version.
fiction.
Yeah, it's like an alternate version of what they think might be the right thing to do. Like an alt-right,
An
know?
alt-right, yeah.
Yeah, alternate right. Yeah.
Hi.
So the Mirror Universe, yes. Not that I was talking about it at all. I like what all they did with that, the lessons that they taught, all the stuff about what makes us human. Both these shows really, Altered Carbon dealt with that too. What makes us human and our base instincts.
The other thing I think that was really impressive about Star Trek Discovery is that it is, as you noted, Grant, it is for the newbie who's never watched Star Trek, but it's also filled with references for the fans. Like, all the Orion stuff showing up at the tail end, like the Orion slave girls and the Orion slave boy and all that stuff, was kind of fun.
Nobody been to the Klingon homeworld since Archer.
Yeah. There's lots of little
Which
nods,
is
especially
Bakula from
Enterprise.
Oh, it's not Archer from the cartoon.
No, sadly, that would have been badass. Ham would have kicked the shit out of some Klingons.
Phasering.
But this show is made for Star Trek fans as well. Like, for all that, if you can get past a couple notable continuity things, like why the Klingons look that way, and a couple other minor things, which I can.
I assume makeup improved.
Yeah, there's just the makeup got better, and the technology looks shinier and flashier than Next Generation, even though we're supposed to be about 100 years before that. You just have to accept that it's being made at a different time, so just roll with it.
Yeah.
But in general, they did not forget the fans of Star Trek who've been there. There's lots of references to various things.
That final shot.
Oh, yeah.
I had goosebumps.
Dun, dun, dun.
And they brought the music up. Yeah.
It was awesome. I can do it like that.
Can you do reverse?
Spock's dad, Burnham's dad. It's not
Sarek.
Sarek.
Yeah.
In the Mirror Universe, he actually has the goatee.
Yeah.
It's so good. It's so fucking good. And I'm not going to say the death to spoiler it, but there's a death that I was completely unprepared. It's very rare that a television show catches me off guard. But like, I did not think anyone was going to get hurt in that scene. Yeah, that was a brutal. I actually yelled no out loud. Gasped. Yeah, I couldn't believe it.
I mean, that scene is problematic for, there's tropes named after that as well. So it's like, why did that one have to happen?
But you know what? You can't be afraid of hurting your characters because of that. You've got to be true to your story.
I had that same thought, but my other thought was, if gay relationships actually get some sort of even representation on shows, and granted, I'm watching a lot of good TV, so I'm actually seeing a lot of TV that has more representation now.
Yeah.
But at some point, they're just going to be character deaths.
Yeah.
And that'll be a wonderful time.
Can we spend a few minutes on how great Tilly is?
Yeah.
And how I watch a spin-off of just Tilly.
Like Captain Killy?
I mean, she's such a necessity as
amazing.
As the comic relief.
Well, but the thing is, she's not just the comic relief. That's what I thought she was going to be. I thought she was going to be sort of the nerdy POV character. She's the heart of the show. She's also the moral center. It seems. Her whole runner on the planet where she's the one who's with Philippa, and she's this sort of wide-eyed innocent in some ways, and yet we get to see back when we see her in the party, we see that she's also kind of the party girl. Like, she's not just she's in some situations like where Burnham is not comfortable flirting with people. Tilly is good with relationships,
and she holds it together even at the party thing when she catches the Orion dealer. Cutting into the thing. She grabs the guy and cuts the box open and opens it. Oh, shit.
Yeah.
And I love her call of, like, Burnham. Full disclosure, I am really high right now. But you have to listen to me.
Like also, another show we watched.
Also, Tilly's moment in the penultimate episode where she goes over to Ash and sort of sits with him and sort of the crew starts gathering around her, that was one of the best moments of the show for me. And I think it speaks to sort of what she brings. Tilly is the optimism and the idealism of the Federation. Even if that can sometimes get you hurt, it's important to have it.
I like that moment with Tyler, too. That was really good.
Yeah, it's like the opposite of what you kind of expect with, like, how we're conditioned to think of high school lunchrooms and cafeterias. It's like someone does something wrong, everyone ostracizes them.
Yeah.
But instead, it's like everyone gathering around because that's what the Federation does. They're all about love.
We just talked about this,
Yeah.
I like how they used Tyler. That said, I was mad that he survived it.
Oh, really? Because I find him such a fascinating character that they built.
And the only reason is because they let the dialogue go a hair far. They had one more scene than was okay for me, where two characters talked about how much they had done to him, and how like huge portions of you were gone. Well, no, it's because Laurel. It's because she says, like, when she's like, no, you just crammed a Klingon in. Like, no, we found a little bit of DNA of your friend, grew a body that looked like him in a vat, is what it sounded like, and put our friend in that skin.
No, they took Klingon. They took Vought. They cut him to look
Yes,
human.
But it wasn't until like.
Oh,
later
and then
in the
they
episode
put the
they
other
explain
skin
that.
on top?
But the way that she explains it, and looking back on it, I assume that they hand waved it away by saying she was trolling Burnham. But the way she explains it, it really makes it sound like that was a Tyler skin with Tyler memories that they reconstructed, and that thing has never actually, that thing never came out of Mrs. Tyler.
Yeah. I think that's
so
true.
So then when they said like, well, we can bring them both back, and I went, oh, we're gonna merge him into a functioning person that just has the memories of the, like. It felt a little like, oh no, you just want this character to live because he's a love interest, and it's a wonderful like.
Well, I think that was built in from the start. I think that was
He
always
should
the
have
plan.
fucking died instead of killing their.
Yeah,
I was thinking for sure that we were going to see, and I forget the character's name, but the medical officer who died. I thought for sure we were going to see him in the mirror universe somehow
Me
get
too. I was disappointed we
brought
didn't see
back.
that.
Yeah, that seemed like an easy way to go. With
I'm
that.
also disappointed we didn't get to see real universe Lorca. If in fact he still is alive, I want to see.
Same.
But I think I think that's probably they're leaving that up to whether or not they want to bring Jason Isaacs back for season 2.
Yeah, because it's definitely arguable that like basically he got transported away in the middle of an explosion that should have killed him.
or
And-
that he's like a prisoner on the ship
So
and like
either our
Lorca's
Lorca
office. or
got
something.
transported directly into an explosion, which is
Yeah.
a fine way to kill somebody,
Yeah.
or our Lorca got transported as a prisoner somewhere. And I'm a little surprised they didn't end the season with a shuttle work in it. So.
So they're going to get their new captain on Vulcan. Which,
Yeah.
by the way, first of all, I wanted Captain Saru.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right?
But okay, I understand he's not. They don't do battlefield promotions in Starfleet permanently. That's not how they roll.
I was thinking that too, of like, yeah, you can't do that. There's got to be a line of people who have actually worked to get a ship, right?
Yeah. And so they're not going to give it to the first officer, even if he gives awesome speeches and turns out to be a great
and
commander.
everyone has he has their loyalty. They
Yeah.
all trust and respect him.
But
I feel like
in the Star Trek universe, you're supposed to work your way up for a while. You can't just. There's no battlefield promotions. This isn't Star Wars where everybody gets to be a general just because
hold
you
up,
saved.
they did A New Hope ending.
Yes, they did. Yes, they did. But
Hey,
they
cool
give
with Star Wars.
they give medals to the Wookiees, not racists in the Star Trek universe.
Can I ask a question? This guy who plays Saru, is this the dude from the?
Shape of Water.
Yeah,
Doug Jones.
also Guillermo del Toro movie.
Alabama Senator Doug Jones.
I did see that joke out there.
Yeah, he's the skinny guy.
In Pan's Labyrinth.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh
and
man, that is too
He's Abe
cool.
Sapien
He's
in
Abe
Hellboy.
Sapien.
Man.
Yeah.
That is
We're not-
insane.
We're not sure that when he looks like a person, that's not a suit, that he doesn't just look like a weird
They're
alien.
doing something with, We Live in the Shadows, or they're
Oh,
gonna-
yeah,
they're gonna
Shadows,
use
He's
it.
gonna be in the pilot for that, so he's gonna be a creepy vampire.
Nice.
But also,
Nice.
Maybe we'll actually see his real face.
Maybe
That's
he's
what I was-
young
I was
Peter.
actually thinking that. It's like, do you think that's gonna be the least makeup? Vampire will be the least makeup. Samuel Johnson.
but they're going to Vulcan to get the new captain.
Mhm.
So are we going to see a Vulcan captain, or is it just somebody who happens to live there?
Well, maybe we'll never even make it to Vulcan because they just got intercepted
By Pike.
by the USS
The show
Enterprise.
does love to do that.
Oh, so, spoiler, by the way.
That was a big thing. That was a.
Oh, are
Yeah.
you queuing that less?
We're not doing good at this whole live thing.
Oh, that's
because the camera's on me while I'm telling you to pick up that thing. Oh, you go.
So yeah, when they started seeing the NCC 1, I was like, okay,
Now you get the 1-7.
yeah, you're like,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, do we know what they're doing? And then it's Captain Pike.
And Spock is presumably on the
Spock
ship.
is still, as I recall, and this is going to reveal that I don't know all my early Trek. I believe that Kirk is not on board, but Spock is the science officer at this point, which means Spock and Burnham. I am super excited about this. I'm wondering who they're going to cast for Spock.
Wait.
Not Kinto.
No.
Probably not.
No, you don't think so?
I don't think so.
Maybe they get
I mean-
someone who actually looks like Leonard Nimoy.
Did he have a bad experience on Heroes? He doesn't want to come back to TV?
Well, he's supposed to be pretty young here.
Yeah.
He's supposed to be like in his early 20s
I
or
still
something
feel
like
like
that.
they'd have had Pinto involved and not hit and been able to hide that.
Yeah,
I think
I
that'll
agree.
be picked out by now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But-
but
I mean, this isn't a close.
I'm super excited for season 2. I don't know what that's going to look like, but I loved this more than I expected. I was very doubtful. There was all that bad publicity. Brian Fuller left. It kept getting pushed back and back.
Yeah.
And then it came out, and I fell completely in love with it. And this was like Game of Thrones type thing. I was like, I watched it every week. I wanted to talk about it every week. So I am sad that it's over. By the way, this is over. Good Place ended last season.
Oh! Oh,
We just finished the
no.
season. TV, you got to fill that gap now because I need something.
We just finished Altered Carbon.
Right.
Like Netflix will drop something next week,
That's
and it'll be
probably true.
another like new hotness.
That's probably true.
We need AP Bio to get a lot better. And
Yeah.
then I think I'll be good. Like,
Really
AP
needs to
Bio
step up.
just needs to become twice as good, and then it can, like, kind of curb my Good Place addiction.
AP Bio does not have, I think, the structure in place for it to ever like transcend to like a Parks and Rec
The kids.
or a
The kids.
Good Place.
The kids.
To get zany enough.
AP Bio can hit the level of the Mick can, and that's about as good as it's going to get.
Oh, but what if those kids are breakouts? What if all of those kids turned, like, they could have their own spinoff? Maybe.
Probably.
Damn
No.
it. It's
You
not
are
going to work.
You're very optimistic about that.
I'm trying. I'm
It's
trying
got
really
to be
hard.
the uniform that's bringing out the optimism.
Yes. And he's in command, so we should all be listening to it.
Fair enough.
Everybody watch AP Bio. It's the best show on TV right now.
Kyle, maybe just say make it so.
Make it so.
We're so ordered.
So ordered? Was
I think
that
that's what Burnham says.
was that Burnham's? Yeah, yeah.
So ordered.
So ordered number one. Yeah, don't sell it.
Well, guys, I think we could probably wrap things up here.
What?
This has been a fun little experiment here with
We're not afraid to fail.
Not afraid to fail. That's been our motto, and I don't
Say
know.
it, Randy.
I don't
Not
know if
afraid to
we've
fail.
failed, but let's see. We got some comments here. Someone said that Randy looks so relaxed.
So relaxed.
And then Dennis McElwain was saying The Expanse is great. And hey guys, we just want to say thank you all for tuning in and checking this out. We might come back and try this out again in the
We
future.
can't do any worse than this. Like, we can only go up.
Is that true,
This,
though?
yeah, well, next time we'll have this figured out. Because I keep going, oh, nope.
Yeah.
Or I keep going, wait, what? No. Next time, it won't be as jumpy. We got stuff we can make better.
It's all a learning experiment here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can make this a lot
Yeah.
better.
Why are you guys being so mean to us?
Back off, us. We're our
They've already
harshest
tuned
critic.
out. They were like, oh, you won't flipping the cameras back and forth.
All right, guys, we want to say once again, thank you guys for tuning in, checking us out. If you want to go help support us some more, go to iTunes, get the reviews, go to patreon.com/tvdudes and make a per episode donation.
Check out this place.
Yeah, go to Permanent Record. We are proud members of the Permanent Record Network. Nice, guys. And yeah, we are recording here in our Permanent Record studio. So, thank you. And how do we close this out? Do we...
TV Dudes out!
Oh!
Hi, we're the TV Dudes.
We love watching and talking about TV.
Hi, we have been creating a podcast dedicated to discussing all things television since 2010.
And in that time, we've never played a single ad. Why? Because ads ruin the podcast experience.
And we know you're just going to skip the ads anyways.
Are
we are proudly 100% listener support.
Man.
Oh, I'm Grant Davis, and I wear tie. I like talking with my hands and stuff. Whoa, it was like.
Hi, I'm Randy.
No, Randy, you can't do you can't do your own
I can
voice.
do my own voice.
I'm
Ashley.
Oh, Ashley didn't get to be here this episode.
I'm Les.
Les is
Les.
wearing a shirt.
I got the
Look at
best
me.
voice.
I-
V-necks. This is quality TV, guys.
I like wearing shirts. I'm all about shirts.
Where's that cocaine one at? Gonna get some of that.
I got nothing, guys. What do you want from me?
Oh, bow ties.
Birthday stuff.
Yeah. Well, I have a comic shop, and if you want to... Oh,
Hi, I'm Ashley. I'd like to tell you.
Whatever.
Hi, my name is Liz. Hey, look at my shoulders. My shoulders are constantly moving because of Kyle.
Maybe they're me.
God, I hope nobody's listening to this. I'm so sorry to all of you. I'm so sorry.
Patreon.com/TVDudes.
Patreon.
That's our
Thank you.